Welcome to Often Pacing for Snooze Cannington and Coburn.
It's amazing what a little snooze can do.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to Often Pacing on this Monday morning. In the 9 races at Pinjarra today, we've got 6 of the best from Narrogin tomorrow, with Gloucester Park having a Tuesday off. We have to have a look at Friday, the racing that was. We had the Oaks Prelude, the Kersley, competitive free-fall event as well to be able to have a look at, and some horses to follow, some winners to be found over the next 48 hours. Gary Hall Jr. will be joining us to have a chat about Cyclone Geordie, who won on Saturday night after the Battle of Bunbury, and also the dilemma which is facing him heading into this Friday with the Golden Slipper upcoming. But to help us work through this storm of brilliant pacing action, which is coming up your way, we have Oli County joining us week in, week out. Oli, good morning.
Morning, Matt. Yeah, it was a terrific night of racing there on Friday, which was followed up by the Battle of Bunbury, which was a great race as well. It was a really competitive race, and in the end, Cyclone Geordie just too good. He was really, really sharp there, and he's going to be hard to beat in the Derby coming up, isn't he? Yeah,
absolutely. He's a star, and he's come back, and the way he powered through the line of the 27, Junior didn't bustle him in the early stages. He ticks a lot of boxes. He's a perfect made racehorse, and he was a high-priced racehorse, as we know, to come across to WA, but he's one that looks like he's well and truly worth the dollars that have been spent on him. On Friday night, we saw the running of the Kersley. We saw the running of the Oaks Prelude, the Danish Daughter Classic, I should say, and a free-fall event. Firstly, faking it in the Danish Daughter Classic. She's just going from strength to strength. She showed a great deal of ability last time in, Ollie, but she was good again on Friday night, and they've got to find it pretty hard to be able to run her down in the Oaks.
Oh, so they certainly are, and I think at times she'd just done a few little things wrong here and there, but her last couple of starts, she's really looked a real professional, and she was able to work across early there and secure that great run on the back of Better Than Life, and when the run came, she just dashed up nicely and was a pretty impressive winner in the end. I was quite taken by the run of Copperhead Lady in behind them, who hit the line strongly there, and she certainly looks like she's going to be a big Oaks player, and obviously Better Than Life was terrific again, doing all the work, did a few things wrong in the race, and yeah, was still able to run second there, and it was a good second, so she's certainly going to be another one that's right there in the finish in the Oaks.
Absolutely right, and looking at the results from Friday night, as we saw the slipper is this week, we saw the running of the Kersley, which was the 4th, and Sweet Vivian. She's flying, Sweet Vivian, and she's really taken a step up in her recent run. She equalled the track record, close to equaling the track record at Pinjarra 2 starts ago. But she won again from a different way on Friday night and was able to get out and sprint over the top of them. She's in rare air.
Oh, she is, and I was really, I was a little bit surprised that Chris Folk elected to take the sit, but it ended up being a great move there. Longreach Bay got him everywhere he needed to go, and when he pulled her out, she sprinted up nicely and was too good off what was a solid tempo. And Hillview Bondi, he was super there in second. He kept battling away from the breeze, as we know he usually does. Better's Pride, he probably had his chance there to get a little bit closer than he did, but he was still a solid effort there in third. And I was a tad disappointed by the run of Longreach Bay there after he found the front. I thought he might just be able to lead all the way, but he got a little bit tired late running 4th. He wasn't terrible, but I do think the best version of Longreach Bay would have won that race.
Yeah, fair call going into that as well. Having a look at the free-for-all, Mr. Smarty, he was impressive. He was able to work to the top, and from there they were never beating him, but it was just good to see him back into the winners list.
Yeah, it was, and it was also good to see the run of Captain Ravishing. I thought he was quite good there first up. The trial was a little bit so-so, but he was much better there on Friday night. 35.6 lead time. That's pretty fast even for these horses, and he was able to zip across, take the sit on Mr. Smarty, and after that he looked to be bolting on the corner and maybe just got a little bit tired late, but yeah, Mr. Smarty, really impressive. Dominant winner there on Friday, and he really looks to be progressing nicely towards the WA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely right. And let's have a look at the horses to follow. Firstly, we'll back over what we saw last week. Your horses to follow. We had Final Collector we haven't seen. Overly Excited we haven't seen. An Elder Tribute. Just couldn't get into it from the draw on Friday.
Yeah, he was out wide in the track, and he just doesn't seem to be really well suited running that sort of way. I think he just really does need to be a bit closer to the rails, potentially in the breeze or just being tucked in behind them. But I do think he was a solid effort there on Friday. He was beaten 9 metres, but he was 3 wide when they were sprinting up, and they've gone 153 for the 2500, which is pretty slick going, and 27.7 down the back when he was 3 wide. So I think battling away to be beaten 9 metres is certainly no huge knock there, and we can continue following that horse.
And my 3 that I haven't seen them race since, I'm Lightning Banner, Wake Up Jeff and Lion Queen. So who do we add to the black book after Friday's action?
I've got one out of the first race, and that was Fly to the Finish. I thought this horse was in a little bit of trouble when he landed in the breeze, and he was only able to run 4th in the end, but it was a really good 4th. He was only beaten 2.1 metres, and they ran a really fast middle half, 28.3, 28.3. For this type of grade, that's flying for the 40 to 60 grade, and to battle away that well and not be beaten far behind Tri-Royal Brigade, who got that really soft run off the speed. I thought it was a great run, and if Fly to the Finish is able to find the lead in a race very soon, I certainly think he's going to be hard to catch. Out of race 3, a horse which was really badly held up in this race was Star Casino. I thought he returned really nicely here, and he's a horse that I've always had a lot of time for. I think he's a high-quality horse, and even when he is forced to make that step up to free-for-all grade, I think he's still going to be a horse that's thereabouts. But in this 2 to 4 wins Metro grade, I certainly think he can win a race soon if he's able to draw a good barrier. So keen to keep following Star Casino, and then my last horse to follow is racing at Pinjarra today, and I thought strikes quite a winnable race, and that's Soho Vespalind. I thought she was terrific there on Friday night. She was shuffled a couple of pairs back. If she was 1-1, I think she would have won the race, but she ended up 1-2, and she was forced quite wide on the home turn, and she really zoomed late and was running down Grand Coteau, who's quite a nice horse as well, and they got home 28.3. So I thought there was plenty to take out of that run, and she's certainly going to be hard to beat in her race today. So keen to keep following her as well. So my 3 to follow were race 1, Fly to the Finish, race 3, Star Casino, and race 9, Soho Vespalind. What were your horses to follow out of Friday, Matt?
I've got Marchane Said firstly. Marchane Said's a horse that I've been watching closely for the last 4 runs, and I think he's ready to win a race. He was a good effort on Friday night in that first event and wasn't beaten far. Came from back in the field and actually gave the card up for Tri-Royal Brigade. He didn't pull off of his back until late, so I thought he was really good, and I think his prior form had been good, so I'm happy to put him into the horses to follow. Like the way that Better Arcade hit the line. I've liked every run from Better Arcade this preparation, and I just thought he raced with good zest through the line. I think there'll be a race for him very soon, and I thought Vanderbilt was outstanding after being caught 3 wide early, back to last, ducked and weaved, but I just like the way that he powered through the line. I think there's going to be a race for him very soon. He's just run into a couple of races where he hasn't been able to get into that dominating position. He's also trying to tighten up on fitness. I think he'll be ready to rock and roll in his next run. So Vanderbilt goes into the mix as well. Marchane Said, Better Arcade and Vanderbilt. 9 races today at Pinjarra. Where do we find your bets, your 3 bets for Pinjarra today, Ollie?
I'm going to kick things off in the first race, and I'm keen to play around the favourite. The favourite used to do a few things wrong over East, so just that little bit of a query here first up. But obviously a horse with good ability, and if it does everything right, it's going to be hard to beat. But I was keen to be with Labrador, who has pretty good gate speed and I think can get across to the inside in this race, and then we'll have options from there. Has been racing particularly well recently and was a good second at this track and trip 2 starts ago. So that looks pretty good form behind Dream Big Aim High, and I think just getting that great run potentially out in front or on the leader's back, certainly going to get every chance in this race. And if the favourite does everything right, we might be running for the placings, but certainly still some value there. So that's my first for today at Pinjarra. And then in race 6, Ideal Interest, I think is is racing particularly well at the moment. I think this horse finds a really winnable race, was really impressive there on return at this track, and was able to score from a back row draw, which he's faced by again in this race. And then last start, he was good again in pretty good time over the mile. So I think this race looks a touch easier than those two races, should get a good run off the speed, and then can potentially just run over the top here. I think he's racing well enough to take out this race. And the third for me at Pinjarra today was in race 9. Was really taken by the run of Major Typhoon last start, who was a dominant winner, was able to find the front there, led all the way and dashed home a really sharp last quarter there at Northam, and was too good for them. So I think can potentially work forward at the start here. If he's able to lead them up, I think he's going to be really, really hard to run down there in what's a pretty strong field, but the way he went last start, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. So for my three today were race 1, Labrador each way, race 6, Ideal Interest, and race 9, Major Typhoon.
Okay, well, I've got starting off race 3, and with the scratching of the jewel in her eye, gaining a start is Better Than Secret, who I thought was really good last start when leading in 154 and change, was only grabbed in the last few strides. Prior to that was incredibly unlucky. And I just think if you can lead and go 154 and change and only just be beaten, well, she should be able to boot through lead here. She's very fast. The lightning lap looks to suit, and I thought Better Than Secret, leading or sitting, I thought she would win this race. So I was very keen on her today. Better Than Secret, race 3, number 2. Going to race 6, number 10, one that you outlined in Ideal Interest. I just think he's come back really well, and I just feel like he's got a distinct edge in this race. I must say, with the scratchings of Joe with the Flow coming out, I'm a little bit concerned because I think Alpha Prince can lead and run a really good race, but I do think Ideal Interest is on the way up, and I think he's going to win plenty of races, and this is going to be another one today. So race 6, number 10, Ideal Interest, and race 8, number 11, Sweet Duncan. I was very keen on Sweet Duncan to be able to get the job done. Loved his first up run. I think he'll bounce off that well. I think there's enough in the race to suggest there's going to be a little bit happening in the early stages. Therefore, it will bring Sweet Duncan right into it, and I think he can get the job done. So races 3, 6 and 8, all those selections I'm tipping to win. So hopefully it's a good day at Pinjarra today, and that goes along with Oli's selections of Labrador, Ideal Interest, we're doubling up, and Major Typhoon in race 8. We'll move on now to the Tuesday meeting, and 2 for me here. Race 2, World Secret. World Secret was a really good win last start, over-raced badly and a quick time, and then got over the top of them late. I just think Nathan Turvey would have left that race and realised there's probably a couple of things he could do to be able to maybe sort her tractability. She was a little bit keen, a little bit fiery, which we haven't seen her do in a fair while, but it's probably a good sign that she was racing with good zest and good form. Expecting her to be able to go back-to-back with her race tomorrow night. Just looks a really good race for her, and what we saw the other day, I think she can come from nearly anywhere and get the job done. And in race number 3, I was keen on the chances of Jolted Charm, who led and won last start. This looks no harder. Gets a lovely draw, good front-running driver on Abby Vidovic, and in Abby we trust for tomorrow because we're hoping that she can rock and roll a double here in races 2 and 3, World Secret into Jolted Charm. But I think she's going to be really hard to beat, Jolted Charm, in race 3. Those are my 2 for tomorrow. What are your 2, Ollie?
In race 3, I totally agree with you here, Matt. I thought Jolted Charm was right back to her best form last start, leading all the way. She travelled nicely throughout and never really looked like losing. So around Narrogin, I think she's going to be pretty hard to beat there tomorrow night. And then in race 5, I've gone with another Nathan Turvey trained runner in Travel Ban. I think this horse is going to get a really good run behind the potential leader in Lady Camel, who generally likes to roll along in her races. And if the gaps come, I think Travel Ban can be running over the top there. So we're just hoping for a little bit of luck, but if the luck comes, I think Travel Ban can be pretty hard to hold out late. So my 2 tomorrow night are race 3, Jolted Charm with you as well, and race 5, Travel Ban for me.
All right, Ollie, thank you very much for your selections. Good luck and good punting over the next 2 days. Golden Slipper on Friday night, and we'll have a chat to you again next Monday.
Thanks, Matt. Looking forward to it.
There we have Oli County joining us here on Often Pacing. We'll take a short break. Gary Hall Jr. to join us the other side.
You are listening to Often Pacing for Lane Tomich's Snooze in Cannington and Coburn.
Amazing what a little snooze can do.
At Retrovision, you'll find all the electrical stuff you love. But the love doesn't stop there. Because at Retrovision, we do more for you. Our lowest price guarantee gives you complete peace of mind. Find a better price after you shop at Retrovision? Don't worry. With our 60-day price promise, we'll refund you 120% of the difference. And RAC members, you save an extra 5% every single day. So for all the electrical stuff you love, shop online and in-store at Retrovision.
You are listening to Often Pacing for Lane Tomich's Snooze in Cannington and Coburn.
Amazing what a little snooze can do.
Welcome back to Often Pacing. Gary Hall Jr. joins us. He goes into today's meeting with a couple of key chances and heads towards the Golden Slipper with some great chances and no doubt a few sleepless nights up ahead with the barrier draw for the Golden Slipper. Will definitely tell a tale heading into Friday night. Junior, good morning.
Morning, Matthew.
I'm Stealthy in race number 2. Is he going for the Monday to Friday backup? Is that the plan with him after today's race?
Possibly, yeah. I guess depends what happens today. But, I think that would be on the cards.
You confident that he should be able to bounce back into the winners list after a good third doing the work outside of the very talented D-Mac?
Yeah, I think he should. He was pretty good that night, and it looks a pretty winnable race for him. He seemed to get around Pinjarra pretty well as first up as well, so I didn't think he could have been much more impressive first up, and there was still a lot to like about his second up run.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a look at Friday's potential drives for you, you look at Ideal Beach, I'm Stealthy, and D-Mac. What's the thoughts going through your head at this stage? We know that over the past few weeks you've had to have a big think about it. Have you reached the resolution yet?
No, I've looked at avenues to try and legalise cloning. But no, I don't know. It's a tough one, but I don't like just saying I'll wait for the draw. I'm probably going to have to in this instance, but it's not really fair on everyone else. But I think to pick this far out or before the draw is probably unfair on me as well, to be honest. So yeah, I just don't know how to go about it. But cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yep, fair enough. And it's a good and bad situation to be in, but we'll wait for the barrier draw tomorrow afternoon. Race number 4, you drive a Cara Navajo, who's won 3 of her last 4. You drove her to victory last start. Can she overcome a back row draw here? Are you coming with a bit of confidence that she'll run well?
Yeah, she seems to be settling well in her races now, so I think that's probably the key to her doing well from a sit. I think, provided she's like that again today, the form she's in, she's got to be a genuine chance for sure.
We'll wait for Pinjarra and the Racing WA Harness interviews for Be a Lawyer, because we know that you'll love chatting about him there. Race number 9, Pinny Noir, last start 3rd. You used his gate speed off the arm. He wasn't beaten far. He's got a back row draw to work with today. And what's your thoughts about him going into the last?
Yeah, he's working pretty well. He seems to be a horse that doesn't have a lot of idea about racing, but he's getting better every time. I thought his run was good the other day. He sort of, we had to do a little bit to get across and then copped some pressure as well. So he was pretty much a sitting duck, and I thought he boxed on quite well. So, yeah, it's going to be a different kettle of fish for him today with the backline draw. But, he's got that element of toughness to him where he can be put into the race if need be. So, yeah, I'll just play it by ear and speed of the race. I think he can definitely be in the finish, though.
Better than life. She did things wrong on Friday in the early stages and got sent back 6 days and 1 trial. The effort was outstanding again. Faking it, though, got your measure. What's your overall thoughts with her heading towards the Oaks? Is she ticking every box, or is she just crowding a couple of little headaches every time she steps out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say every time she steps out, but definitely last start was a head scratcher. She's not sure what the issue was there. She's usually a beautiful pacer. She's a lovely horse to drive, and I don't know what happened Friday. She just lost her rhythm early and then couldn't recover, and she got hanging quite bad from the last sort of 600, and just was an awful job to sit behind, really. But having said all that, she was still a really good runner, I thought. I don't know. She's pretty inexperienced, but she hasn't ever done anything like that before. So she'll trial Saturday, see if we can't sort of iron those things out. And hopefully she just doesn't do it. Hopefully it's just a one-off and heading towards the Oaks. It's not something you really, want to happen a couple of weeks out, and it'll be the last time she races, obviously, before then. So, but yeah, I think I think if she draws well in the Oaks, I think she's the horse to beat. I know Faking it's had her measure, but you would expect her to beat her under Friday's circumstances. And even the start prior, she's only just got over, and I think I could have done a few little things differently that might have seen me out of get the win on that occasion. So, yeah, I think moving forward towards the Oaks, I wouldn't be swapping her for anything. I'd just like her to go back to what she was like every run before last start.
That's a fair call. Mr. Smarty, was it good to be sitting behind him back in full flight to victory on Friday?
Yeah, it was. He went out in the warm-up and he was even putting him in the cart in the stall. He'd been waiting a long time. He'd been there an hour before the first, obviously, and things like that. So he was he was half asleep, it felt like. So, I woke him up a little bit in the warm-up just to make sure he was okay more than anything. And then when we got up to the gate, he really wanted to charge out. So I thought, I didn't want him having a tough run. When he was that keen on the gate, I thought, easiest way is probably to use his energy early and try and get a soft trip after that, which worked out pretty well. So, yeah, you'd expect him to do that in that field, but, it's always nice to see them do that after they've had a first up defeat.
Cyclone Geordie and Chase Me resumed on Saturday in the Battle of Bunbury. Cyclone Geordie, he didn't buffle him in the early stages, made the mid-race move, and he really powered through the line that 27 last section. He looked very impressive and looked sharp in his return. And Chase Me was beaten 14.9 metres behind you, but came from well back and looked like you would have been thrilled with his performance too. What was the takeaway from the 2 3-year-olds on Saturday?
Yeah, Geordie was he was a little keen up to the gate. And we already know he's got blistering gate speed if we need be. So, yeah, I just elected to get him to sort of settle off the gate first and drop the bit and then take it from there. But he was super impressive. I sort of had a pretty good hold of him until we turned for home. So that, last 200 metres of that last quarter would have been pretty slippery, I think. And, yeah, it was nice to see him extend out like that. He's been working up with Smarty, though, all the way along. So, he did what probably most people would have expected him to do. But yeah, it's always good when they come back from a break to see it again. So probably sort of forgot a little bit how good he was to sit behind. He's probably one of the nicest horses to drive I've ever sat behind, Cyclone Geordie. So and not just because he's so good, just because of the way he does everything and the way he goes about it. So yeah, it's exciting to have him back. I pulled up, looked over at Stewie and expected him to talk about Geordie, and all he wanted to talk about was how good Chase Me went, so he was obviously pretty happy with him. He said he's come back super and he felt awesome, and he was full of praise for his run, so that was exciting as well. And he's a horse that, he obviously come over with big raps and a great record, but he wasn't handling the conditions all that well, and that's our way of going. But I think he's slowly learning. He's definitely been better at home, so that's good to see.
And so just naming some of those horses that we've mentioned in the last 10 minutes, it's a pretty exciting lineup that you've got to drive going forward. But something that you've also got to look forward to within a month is the World Driving Championship. You're representing Australia, which no doubt is an incredible feeling for yourself to be representing your country in New Zealand. But it's got to be an exciting concept that you're looking forward to being able to take on some of the world's best drivers?
Yeah, absolutely. Something I've, you sort of can't really set out or plan to be picked, I guess, in any way. You just do the best you can, and hopefully one day you get a chance. But when I got the call up, I was ecstatic, really. I was also pretty happy that it was in New Zealand because I feel pretty comfortable there as well. So I was more than happy to take the invite, and really looking forward to it. So hopefully, though, we've just got over this weather here. Hopefully, when we get to New Zealand, they've got rid of all their bad weather as well, because the long cold winter over here, or wet winter at least, it's been pretty miserable. So it's good to have some fine weather and some good horses back to drive. But obviously, definitely looking forward to getting over there, and hopefully, hopefully we can get some luck with the draws and the horses and see what happens.
Yeah, you're an outstanding promoter of the sport, Gaz, and it's great to see that they're giving you the opportunity to go over and represent not only WA but the whole country. And you're great for the sport. We love you here in WA, and we'll be cheering you on. So all the best there, and hopefully some winners today.
Thanks, Matthew. Why don't you book your ticket now?
Well, you're going to give me some money? Find me a baseball multi, and I'll come with you.
No, if I pick right in the slipper.
Exactly right. All the best, Junior.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
There we have Gary Hall Jr. joining us here on Off and Pacing. That rounds out Off and Pacing for this Monday morning. Hopefully a few winners there over the next 48 hours. And Pinjarra gets underway just after 12:30 today. So good luck and good punting. And we'll be back again next Monday with the Golden Slipper on this Friday.
Thanks for listening to Off and Pacing for Snooze, Cannington and Coburn.
It's amazing what a little snooze can do.